Welcome to Drinking Bros, presented by GhostBed.com.
Welcome to the fake news. I am your pinch-hitting host for the day, Rob Fox. Ross has...
AIDS.
AIDS, yes. AIDS.
It's definitely AIDS.
It's AIDS. He claims it's bronchitis. I think that's probably... He got the bronchitis because of AIDS. His immune system is lowered, and it got in there.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Yes.
I'm certain of it.
Yes. We are scientists here.
I just Googled it. That's how it
We are
works.
medical experts.
Are the headphones too loud for you?
They were two not working for me. So.
I see.
Try the other pair to your right.
Yeah. Either way. Ross isn't here, so I'm filling in for the day. As always, joined by Dan Holloway, and this is the fake news.
Sure is.
How are you doing today?
I'm great. I'm getting ready to go to Dallas this evening for a night out on the town, followed by, actually I'm just going to get dinner, but then I'm going to do Mike Ritland's show in the morning, so that'll be fun. Then I'll be back here.
And he was just on our show yesterday, 2 days ago, I believe.
Shit, I don't know what day it was. That was yesterday, right?
Yeah, I can't. It all fucking blends together.
It does. It does all blend together. We've got a fun show today.
We had some late breaking news.
Yeah, I mean, just like an hour ago, it was. It's on a bunch of different news organizations' sites now, so I don't know where all people have seen it yet. It's on the New York Post, but I don't know if they're all referring back to the same article from the National Review. But the data is in. Guys, the evidence is in. The NIH, the National Institute of Health, has finally admitted to funding gain-of-function research on bat coronaviruses at China's Wuhan lab, despite Dr. Anthony Fauci repeatedly insisting Congress that no such thing had happened. Now,
Under oath.
Under oath, yeah. So what he actually said was that what they were doing didn't technically amount to gain-of-function research. Now that is that's demonstrably false. Richard E. Wright's been making that point for a while now, but now there's no more smoking gun. We've got video of the murder itself, for lack of a better phrase. So in a letter to Representative James Comer on Wednesday, and top NIH official blamed EcoHealth Alliance, the New York City-based nonprofit that has funneled U.S. funds to the Wuhan lab, for not being transparent about the work it was doing. By the way, that EcoHealth Alliance was set up because the government banned gain-of-function research.
Right.
So they set that up to funnel money from the government to a nonprofit and then to China, Wuhan, to do this fucking gain-of-function research.
To where they could do gain-of-function
Yeah,
research.
exactly.
And for those who don't know or don't remember, gain-of-function research is essentially like kind of creating things or fucking around with things.
It's 12 monkeys, motherfucker. That's
Yeah.
what it is. Jesus Christ. I mean, what the fuck are we doing here? NIH's principal deputy director, Lawrence A. Tabak, maybe, I don't know, wrote in the letter that EcoHealth's, quote, limited experiment, end quote, tested whether, quote, spike proteins from naturally occurring bat coronaviruses circulating in China were capable of binding to human ACE2 receptor in a mouse model. So this virus was created in a lab in China. So we don't need the Stop Asian Hate stuff, because it was actually a white dude from New York that oversaw the entire thing. So maybe white dudes from New York, we need to start randomly attacking them, I guess. I don't know.
I'm just upset that we're just making everything in China now.
Yeah.
What happened to America?
We're not even making
disease?
our own meth anymore. Yeah, it is. There's no more room for debate here, folks.
By the way, you know what's interesting about this breaking today? You know what I saw this morning from NBC? Was that the Chinese came out with a new theory on where the coronavirus came from.
Oh, yeah?
That it came from lobsters in Maine.
Is that like an attack on Jordan Peterson because he's always talking about lobsters and shit?
Is he? I thought he just ate red meat all the time.
No, it's totally separate from
okay.
that. It's not his diet. So what had happened was the lab mice infected with the modified virus, quote, became sicker, end quote, than those that were given the unmodified virus. As sometimes occurs in science, this was an unexpected result of the research, as opposed to something that the researchers set out to do. Gain-of-function research refers to viruses being taken from animals before they are genetically altered in a lab to make them more transmissible to humans. I don't know why the fuck we would do that.
Presumably to make vaccines for shit that doesn't exist, I guess. It all sounds very Jurassic Parky.
Yeah. The admission from the NIH official directly contradicts Fauci's testimony to Congress in May and July when he denied the U.S. had funded gain of research projects in Wuhan. You can read all of that at your leisure. You can actually watch the entire thing on YouTube. It's posted there. Fauci's repeatedly clashed with Rand Paul specifically, who is also a medical doctor. I think he's a gynecologist or some shit like that. Is he a puss doctor? What does he do?
Wait, is he really?
Or is he the vision doctor and his dad was the fucking puss doctor?
I think, what type of doctor?
Yeah,
is
Ron
Rand
Paul was a pussy doctor, and Rand Paul is a fucking optometrist or some shit like that.
So an eye dentist?
Yeah, an eye dentist. So not a real doctor.
Yeah. Actually, it says he's a surgeon.
Oh, well, there you go. Either way, they're both doctors, technically. They both are medical doctors.
I'm sorry, ophthalmology. I think he's an eye surgeon. Maybe.
Ophthalmology.
No, it's OPHTHALMOLG.
Yeah, ophthalmologist.
Ophthalmology, the H is just silent?
Motherfucker. Have you seen Latin before? Anyways, Rand Paul is obviously dragging him on Twitter. He says, "I told you so." It doesn't even begin to cover it here. Tabak, who did not use the term gain of function in his letter, but alluded to it, said EcoHealth, which is run by British scientist Peter Daszak, that's D-A-S-Z-A-K, if you're looking for somebody to punch in the face, failed to comply with the terms of the grant, which required it to, quote, report immediately a 1 log increase in growth. He continued, quote, EcoHealth failed to report this finding right away and was required by the terms of the grant, as was required by the terms of the grant. EcoHealth is being notified that they have 5 days from today to submit to NIH any and all unpublished data from the experiments and work conducted under this award. So I'm guessing the EcoHealth is going to go ahead and hire whomever Hillary Clinton hired to handle her emails, probably, right? Because they're going to fucking try to hide all this stuff. The short version of all this is that over the last several months, Fauci has been repeatedly accused of lying by people who know that he's lying. Mm-hmm. Richard E. Bright, Rand Paul is a medical doctor, so on and so forth. And he has lied under oath multiple times about it. And he's been protected by the press and by the administration. This motherfucker needs to go to jail, right? You can't create a fucking virus that kills a couple million people, even if it's on accident, and just get away with it. And especially not after you shut down the goddamn economy because of your incompetence. You know what I mean? This is gaslighting at a level that I don't think we've ever seen it before as a human species, at least not at this scale.
So what's the immediate steps after this? Like, so there's an initial report. It's kind of getting picked up in a sort of aggregate effect, right? Like, there hasn't been any yet, like, follow-up reporting from, like, the Wall Street Journal or the New York Times or blah, 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 right?
Well, it's in the New York Post.
Right. It's in the New York Post, but they probably weren't the ones that, or maybe they broke the story a little bit.
They're covering the same letter. The letter was made public.
Right. Yeah,
so you can see the letter on the New York Post website or on...
But there hasn't been a deep dive yet in it.
No, there's not been a deep dive. But he's the guy that's in charge of it has admitted that everything that Rand Paul has been saying is true. So now the next step is for the Justice Department to get involved and investigate why he was lying under oath. But they probably won't, right? I mean, the Justice Department is part of the executive branch, and Biden is not going to let that happen. His team is not going to let that happen. He will shield them for as long as he can. Luckily, there's a 7-year statute of limitations, I think, on lying under oath. So... there's plenty of time to deal with this asshole. First, let's get all this data from the EcoHealth guys and make it public. Whatever the NIH gets from them should be made public for doctors all across the country to review, because you cannot trust the government's internal peer review process. And we'll see exactly what the fuck was going on over there. But what it looks like, not what it looks like, what this dude is saying happened, the deputy director of the NIH is saying happened is, we found coronaviruses and decided to manipulate them so they would be more transmissible or transmissible generally to human beings, and that shit got out.
Yeah. And they were doing it presumably to get ahead of the curve.
Right.
Right. So that they could, because there are coronaviruses that naturally do mutate, essentially, or whatever, to jump from people or from animals to people.
Yeah. So all these people who have been banned from social media, who have been ostracized in some way that cost them some kind of money, I feel like they really have an axe to grind at this point. These people that have been fact-checked into oblivion, especially if you're here in Texas, if you've been, there's a law here now where you can sue Facebook or Google for banning your shit based
Twitter,
on political
whatever.
means, right?
Yeah.
Twitter as well. Those things need to start happening. People need to start getting into the courts with this stuff because that's what's really going to get news attention on it. It's also going to make sure more people file lawsuits, class action lawsuits, stuff like that. These people have to. The only color they care about is green. You have to make them fucking hurt where it counts. And I think that should be the next step as well for the public. So on the private side, or on the government side, this dude needs to be investigated. We'll see if that happens. Under the Biden administration, I doubt it. We're probably looking at a 2025 investigation there, to be honest.
Right.
But it'll happen eventually.
Is there any way, some sort of state agency or something? Because the coronavirus, COVID, whatever, affected every single state. Like, there's different levels of government and agencies that could get in on this.
That's a good question. I don't know what laws states have on the book to detain somebody. I mean, but if the crime that you're talking about is lying under oath at the federal level, then it would be federal.
Would be federal.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way for the state to get involved in that. Yep. Well, there's that. That's our lead story. So super fun times. This dum-dum developed a biological weapon on accident.
I mean, this is literally a sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
Like every sci-fi movie.
Yeah, and millions of old people died from this. Some random, a lot less, people that are healthy and stuff, but still, it's a pain in the ass. And
right.
None of this shit had to happen, and it crippled the fucking global economy. And this is
probably caused some spike in poverty and then thus in like crime and stuff like that.
Certainly,
you would think there's probably some shitty downstream effects.
Yep.
As well?
Yeah, there certainly were quite a few downstream effects. So we'll see how that all goes. It'll be interesting to see how far CNN and MSNBC has to go out of their way to bend this narrative in a way that doesn't make them look like a bunch of fucking cunts. You know what I mean? Because they spent the last year and a half now just destroying anybody that fucking said this stuff.
Right. Well, and also blowing Fauci.
Yeah, and like, I don't understand why people hate Fauci so much. People must hate science if they hate Fauci. No, we hate liars. Everybody does. We also hate people who create viruses that murder us. I think that's fucking reasonable to hate that person. This dude, he's fucking in a bunker somewhere at this point.
Yeah.
You got to think he's not going to go out in public anytime soon. I can't imagine this dude walking around in public and not getting just fucking somebody walking up and stabbing him right in his chest.
He does like to power walk, so.
How fast can you really power walk?
He'll need a treadmill, is what I'm going to say at this point. Probably can't do it there.
You get a Peloton.
Yeah, Peloton's nice. One thing that's interesting to me about gain-of-function research, and maybe they're just not able to do yet, and also you just kind of need to get your hands dirty at some point. But, isn't there just a certain amount of, modeling you can do where you don't actually have to get put bat diseases and morph them and put them in a mouse?
Yeah, I mean, look, China is sewing the faces on to sewing monkey faces onto humans or human faces onto monkeys or some shit.
Probably a little bit of A, a little bit of B.
Yeah, they're trying to create some kind of fucking chimera over there. I don't know why. I mean, maybe they're just bored and want to do some weird science.
Is that like a Chinese chupacabra?
A chimera is two species together.
So kind of.
Yeah, like a jackalope or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Stalin tried to do that back in the day with super soldiers and gorilla thing, like a combo hybrid.
Yeah.
Just a human hand.
That's where Channing Tatum came from.
Yes.
He's a gorilla human hybrid, and he doesn't. Did you see that story about Channing Tatum, by the way?
He feels bad that
he's upset that their feelings were hurt by Dave Chappelle's comedy.
Right.
I can't tell if he's I would say something like, I feel bad that you were hurt by that because you're a weak little bitch. and you can't handle words. If you can't handle words, life is going to be real hard.
Not going to be ideal.
No.
Also, I don't think really anyone was hurt by it, and there's just like 1,000 people screaming about it.
Yeah.
Like, I have to assume most people are like, what? Oh, Dave Chappelle has a special on Netflix. I'm not going to watch it. Or I am going to watch it and like it. And then the world keeps moving.
They've been talking about this walkout for like 3 weeks now. When's it going to happen?
Yeah, get the
did.
fuck out already.
No, it happened yesterday, and it was like a couple dozen people, and half of them weren't even Netflix employees. There were people showing up in like solidarity.
Was David Hogg one of them?
Yeah, probably.
Like, he's a paid protester at this point. He tried to start an anti-My Pillow company.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, what the fuck are you doing, man?
Which is, I don't...
If anybody thought that it was about anything other than fucking attention and money, that was your evidence that it's only about attention and money.
I think mostly even just attention.
Probably.
Like, I don't think people think even, like, it's like, fuck, I don't know. It's like jacking off. You're not really thinking beyond, like, that 30 seconds. You're not doing a lot of planning. You just want the gratification.
Yeah. Yeah, you might be right. Next up, lower your expectations, folks. Jack Handy's back. Do you remember those old Saturday Night Live sketches?
Oh, fantastic.
Lowered expectations. It was one of my favorite ones.
What was the other one? That's what I'm more familiar with. Is it in between, like, Jack Handy, like wisdom or something?
Yeah, I don't remember. What the other one was, but
Deep Thoughts.
Oh yeah, Deep Thoughts with Jack Handy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lowered expectations. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. So there's been a noticeable push by the mainstream media of late to lower expectations in a very clear effort to mask the embarrassing tenure so far for Biden. I mean, everything has gone wrong for this asshole so far. We have a crisis when it comes to goods being on shelves and a bunch of boats sitting offshore. Meanwhile, the transportation secretary is on a 2-month paternity leave. Nowhere to be found because he's doing something, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You've got a newborn, so you know how much effort it is. Does it require 2 people 24 hours a day for 2 months to get through that process?
I will say, just fact checked it. They do have twins. But here's the thing. I'm just saying that
babies sleep a lot,
man. It is 2 babies. But I have no problem with paternity leave. But like, if Pat Mahomes took maternity leave during the Super Bowl,
yeah,
you might have a problem with it, right?
It seems like probably not the best idea.
Right. Like, and also paternity leave is it's not like your baby's born, fucking take it now or lose it.
Yeah.
You get like a year or something usually.
Yeah.
And also they have the money to handle it.
Clearly.
So
they have the money to
pay a surrogate
for twins, which is probably $250,000 to be honest.
For twins, fuck yeah.
So
they could probably get a nanny while he should have been dealing with an emergency. That's the fucking issue. I don't give a fuck if he took paternity leave although once you reach a certain level of things, it kind of feels like you certainly take your time to do be at a special event like a birth or something like that. But yeah, no, I have a newborn. I'm here today. He's 7 weeks old.
Yeah, I think he's fine too.
He's doing okay.
Yeah, so far as we know.
My wife hasn't texted me. My wife promised she would text me if the baby died.
Yeah, well, if you see Dan disappear out of the room for a while, you'll know he's back there just doing some body work on that little kid.
Yeah.
The other stuff going on, the economy's fucked. People are quitting jobs. This mandate bullshit is driving out people from major institutions like air travel and policing and the medical community. The border is fucked. Blah, blah, blah. And you know how the coverage from mainstream media is what it is, right? They always try to butter up their side and fuck over the other side, regardless of which side it happens to be.
Right.
But this stuff is pretty wild, man. The Washington Post went so far this week as to publish an article titled, quote, "Don't Rant About Short-Staffed Stores and Supply Chain Woes," wherein the author states, quote, "Rather than living constantly on the verge of throwing a fit, we do ourselves a favor by consciously lowering expectations," end quote. Sweet. I will lower my expectations when you lower my motherfucking taxes, bitch. Are you fucking kidding me? I should be able to go into a store and find food.
It's very, it's very and I'm not saying this is all socialism or whatever, but it's very social, Soviet sort of the struggle is noble. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's like when
We're all in this together.
when Avery Jessup got kidnapped by North Korea. They made her do. This is Dirty Rock, by the way.
Yep.
Obviously, they made her do broadcasts, and she goes, "And in health news today, you've had enough to eat."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then the what is it? The interview where they have the fake fucking produce in front of shit. Like,
Yeah.
this is nonsense, man.
I was actually, my 30 Rock reference was going to be Settling Soulmates.
Oh yeah, with Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, which is what this also fucking reminds me of.
Yeah, no shit.
I'll tell you what, man, like that's a fucking wild thing to tell people. It's
Yeah,
just, like,
yeah.
eat it.
Some reporter, I don't know who it was asking Jen Psaki, the White House press secretary, about it, and said stuff about people can't get their couches, they can't get their treadmills, so on and so forth. Obviously, making an allusion to Christmas and people buying those things.
Right.
Q4 represents about 45%. That 25% of the year represents about 45% of all sales that happen in American commerce for the year, right? 45 to 50% sometimes, depends on the year. And he's obviously, or she, I don't even know who it was obviously referring to that. And Psaki's response was, "Oh, the tragedy of treadmills the tragedy of the treadmill that's delayed." Like, really? That's your fucking response to that, to be smug when you guys are fucked? When you fucked everything up and you're like, what, that's what you care about? Getting the stuff that you paid for? Like, yeah, dude, that's what most people care about, is not being inconvenienced. That's why people don't like governments, because governments continuously try to do stupid shit like this.
It's a pretty fun way to say get fucked, though.
It is, yeah. I mean, it's, she's clever. I'll give her that. She's a fucking a pathological liar and a cunt, but, clever. They've made, the media's made constant excuses over the past year for riots as well. I mean, you've seen them massaging this language. People burning down federal buildings. About $2 billion worth of damage has been done during Antifa and Black Lives Matter riots. And they will go into great detail about what happened and then say, we just want you to remember these are protests, not riots. Like, no, you just gave me the definition. I don't need you to tell me at the end, motherfucker. And then 200 fucking retarded hillbillies trespassing at the Capitol as unarmed hillbillies is an insurrection, is a threat to democracy. Are you fucking kidding me, dude? Jesus Christ. Just be, by the way, all those people should be in jail. I don't like any of that, but this is nonsense. And this week...
It is, by the way, weird that someone would go into the Capitol with zip ties but not a gun.
Yeah, I don't know what the zip ties were for. That, I mean, were they going to kidnap somebody?
Right.
Like, you're going to walk them out of the crowd of 300,000 people and just disappear?
Right.
Probably
Someone might stop you. Like, they were still cops in the building.
Oh, boy. The Washington Post also had an article this week scolding progressives who are angry at Biden for not fulfilling any of his campaign promises. And then they wrote another article that blamed the entire pandemic on Republicans somehow, although it was clearly Fauci who created all this shit, right? Jesus Christ. The reality is Biden's lost his support in pretty much every avenue. 41% approval rating right now with a 52% disapproval rating. And this is from a left-leaning magazine, so if you go by any of the usual standards, that's more like a 35% approval rating, give or take. It's usually 5 or 6 off from whatever you're going to find on one of these newspapers.
So I'm looking up the aggregate is 50 disapprove, 43 approve.
Yeah, that's the aggregate is Nate Silver's numbers are fucking dog shit and have been since 2012. But yeah, I mean, if you look at a typical poll and then the result afterwards, it's usually the lefty media is off by 4 to 6 points typically. So let's say conservatively, you're looking at a fucking 37% approval rating for the president right now. And his strongest metric has been handling of the pandemic, which is now down to 50% approval with a 45% disapproval, which means he's upside down on that one as well by a big margin. Not looking good. Not looking good for this guy.
At this point, and I've thought this for a long time, I don't understand why anyone would read the Washington Post or the Times. Like
it's the Gelman amnesia effect that I think it was Maria Konnikova talked about on the show, where somebody will. The example she gave was the New York Times financial section. You read something demonstrably untrue and stupid about stock trading on the front on page 1. And then by the time you get to page 6, you've forgotten about how unreliable this magazine is and see something and take it as truth. And it's just, I don't know why people think like that. The first thing you should ask yourself about any piece of information is, where did this piece of information come from?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then start stripping off all the fucking bend and spin and bullshit so you can see what the actual facts are.
You know what's extremely fucked up is that, the only place where people are like hypercritical of that and will like know the names of the voices that they're getting their information from, and will not necessarily, they'll get angry at the outlets or whatever, but they mostly will still be like, okay, the outlet's dog shit, but that voice inside that outlet is good, et cetera, and they're like hypercritical of knowing who's giving them the information. Sports.
Yeah, which is funny because this morning on Get Up, Adam Schefter was all over the place. And I don't know why anybody's listening to this guy anymore.
Right.
If he was on the schedule for next week to be interviewed, I would fucking probably cancel him, to be honest.
But
I
so
don't want to hear from that guy.
For example, like, you probably don't think ESPN is very good, right?
Right.
As a whole. But you'll listen to Buster Olney, right? Or you'll listen to, there's like guys on, or Tim Kirkchin, like you'll listen to that because you'll know the outlet doesn't matter. Like, I trust Tim Kirkchin. The outlet will matter sometimes.
Right.
But even with them, but largely wherever they are, they're reliable.
That's because sports are ones and zeros. It's data, it's facts, right? And it's not, so it's data that we all have access to as well. I'm not talking about breaking stories the way the Schefter does or anything, any of the behind the scenes stuff. I'm talking about if I'm watching Tim Kirkchin or Buster Olney break down the roster of a baseball team or the playoffs or stuff like that, I know what their resume is, and I can see the same exact data they can, right? So I can follow that process along. And these, even when people say, we just posted the facts themselves are not enough. Context matters.
Right.
Like, you could post, the facts are that COVID, a bunch of people did die with COVID, right? Maybe not of, maybe some, maybe a lot of, maybe some not, right? But the way they changed from infection rate to deaths, then back to infection rate, and then to other fucking metrics, yeah, those numbers are facts. But without the other facts around them, they have no context, and that's a fucking problem, right?
Right. Well, but even in that, like in sports, people are like, wait, what? You were showing quarterback rating a minute ago, now you're just throwing touchdown passes? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Why are you, it's very bizarre. I mean, like, is it just that it's like so boring? You talked about this with the dude on APP the other day about tax law and stuff, how it's just so boring so people don't pay attention.
Yeah, I think that's probably part of it.
So people, like, regular news is kind of fucking boring until it's not, until there's a crazy headline, but so they don't pay attention to the bylines.
I mean, it's not just news, though. The most popular fucking show on all of ESPN is Stephen A. Smith yelling at people. You know what I mean? And arguing about nonsense. And you can tell that it's fucking forced because he makes the other person on the show take the opposite view. Like, you can tell that they don't actually believe what they're saying most of the time.
Right.
It's him, and then in a research paper, you would write a brief explanation of the arguments against your case, right? And maybe cite some of the people that argued against you. In his case, he makes other people argue against him and gives them the fucking words to say as well. It's nonsense. But that was popular then. Crossfire on CNN with Tucker Carlson and whoever the fuck, who was the other guy on that?
I don't remember.
Was it Chris Matthews?
Yes. Oh, yeah, it was.
Yeah, so them arguing on, and you know, it's people like that shit. People like reality TV, but you get what you fucking pay for. And if you use your time, if with your time and your attention, you buy this horse shit, then that's exactly what you're going to get. And that's why you have a government and a media now that is completely fucked. They don't even know where the truth is, much less how to capture and then report it.
Yeah.
So
well, I don't think they care where the truth
they certainly
is.
don't now. No. Next up, somebody does care. In-N-Out cares. In-N-Out's all out of fucks to give, apparently. You've probably seen the coverage of an In-N-Out franchise at the Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco. They got shut down for a couple of days and paid some fines. If you haven't, they essentially told the government that they're not going to be used as the vaccination police. Arnie Wesinger, the chain's chief legal and business officer, said, "We refuse to become the vaccination police for any government. It is unreasonable, invasive, and unsafe to force our restaurant associates to segregate customers into those who may be served and those who may not, whether based on documentation they carry or any other reason." Now, another In-N-Out chain has told California to go fuck itself as well. The chain's Pleasant Hill restaurant has been fined twice now, $250 and $500.
So 20 minutes worth of business?
Yeah, for not checking the vaccination status of indoor diners as required by Contra Costa County health officials. The second fine was imposed Tuesday. My understanding is the chain is going to continue not doing that. So they will probably get shut down, then sued to be reopened the same way that the Fisherman's Wharf one did, and not be able to have people eat inside.
If there's one business that can tell California to go fuck itself and not alienate its residents, it's probably In-N-Out.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll say this.
This is a company, by the way, real quick.
Yep.
Notorious, kind of like Chick-fil-A, notorious for years and years to pay their employees well above minimum wage.
Yeah, they pay $15 an hour for like their low. That's their
Lowest.
minimum wage. Yeah.
I mean, their managers make six figures.
Yep.
Part of me is like, I like hamburgers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Do I get if you can throw on like a free double a day? I'll take that. I'll take that deal. So this is a short one. I just wanted to give them some public attention if you hadn't already seen it, because I want people to patronize their business. We need to spend we spend a lot of time on this show and collectively as a community talking shit to businesses that capitulate to government bullshit. And I think we need to do the same amount of patronizing their businesses when they do the right thing, right? It's there's a stick and a carrot. The stick is used to beat dum-dums over the head when they're being dum-dums, and the carrot is used as a motivational tool and as a reward. And In-N-Out has done the right thing here, and they deserve to be respected for and patronized for that, in my opinion.
It's worth noting, by the way, based on vaccination rates, when they use the word segregate in here,
Yep.
they're going to be segregating a lot of non-white people, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, that's the real issue that they found in New York, right, with the vaccination requirement. Apparently black people don't trust the government.
Yeah, it's weird.
To inject shit into their bodies.
Yeah.
I can't imagine why Michael Wilbon from ESPN, like he's trying to talk shit about Kyrie Irving not getting vaccinated. Like, shut the fuck up, old man.
Look,
like, you don't remember where you fucking came from, guy.
If Kyrie Irving had stopped at, I don't want to get vaccinated, that would be fine. But his weird, like, they're going to put me into a computer to track, like, black people or something. Like, he has some weird, like, Egyptian Hotep type of shit going. Like, it got real fucking weird with Kyrie, as it usually does.
Yeah, he's a weirdo. Jason Isaacs maybe is a better example of a rational human being.
Yeah.
Or who's the other guy? Bradley Beal, I think, is told them to go fuck themselves as well. Yeah.
Beal's a St. Louis guy. I'll back him.
Yeah, I like Bradley Beal. At any rate, this is just more evidence that In-N-Out is better than Whataburger. Whataburger is trash. It's garbage. The only thing they have there that's good isn't even their burger. It's their chicken fingers with the gravy dipping sauce. So fuck off Whataburger. In-N-Out's the best. What?
It's a correct take. Whataburger sucks.
Yeah, Whataburger's terrible.
The actual burger's bad.
It's bad, man.
It's
Am I
not-
wrong? It's thin.
No.
Oh, God.
I always tell people, like, if you get the regular burger, you'll be wildly disappointed. You have to get, like, a patty melt. If you're just going to go with the burgers.
Patty melt's not bad,
The
yeah.
patty melt there is good.
These are the conversations I always get into in this debate, by the way. It's like, fucking Whataburger's way better than In-N-Out. Like, In-N-Out's fries aren't even good. I'm like, okay, maybe you don't like their fries, but their burgers are definitely better, right?
Oh, 100%.
Like, there's no question about that.
In-N-Out's fries are, like, oddly good.
Don't tell me a place called Whataburger is better because of their chicken, motherfucker, or their fries. The burger is the goddamn first thing on the menu, bitch.
You got to get the honey butter chicken biscuit.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
one of my buddies actually said to me. He's from Kansas City. Said the same thing. It's the chicken fingers with the gravy sauce and the honey butter biscuit. I'm like, so not the burger.
Not the burger.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, they have good sauces. I'll give them that.
They
but
do have good sauces, but they buy that shit from the same place everybody else buys their
right.
goddamn sauces from.
It comes from Cisco, and it's pretty whatever.
Right. And by the way, In-N-Out's not the best burger chain. Five Guys is way better.
Yeah, Five Guys is the best burger in Austin.
For sure. If Five Guys is the best burger anywhere, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's pretty superior, I would say.
But as a company, I don't really know much about Five Guys, but I know In-N-Out has lifted up its beanbag and placed it directly on the forehead of California, and I appreciate that.
You will not get Californians to rise up against In-N-Out.
No, there's no chance.
Yeah.
That would be a civil war.
Yeah.
Right? That's how Jocko finally takes power of California.
I mean, it is like the equivalent of like getting Utahns to revolt against the Mormon Church or something. Like, it's just not going to happen.
I mean, they love Chick-fil-A there, too.
In California?
And Utah.
Oh, I was saying everywhere they love Chick-fil-A.
Well, that's true. All right, do an ad.
We got a Ghost Bed ad coming up. Ghost Bed's first ad of the day. It's our favorite advertisers, as we like to say around here all the time. They've been with us like 5+ years. It's the most comfortable bed you can get anywhere, and you can just get it online and get shipped to your house. They have a 20-year warranty with these mattresses. You can try it out for 101 nights. If you don't like it, you can send it back. You're a psycho if you mail a mattress back, but you won't need to because these are legitimately, again, the best beds you can buy. One thing that they always do really great with us is they offer massive discounts.
Yep.
Which doesn't make sense because they offer a product that they would probably not ever need to discount. They're just nice about that, I guess. They're doing bundles right now, so you can choose from one of their 4 mattresses and their adjustable base and then add on from there. So they're cooling pillows and sheets, a mattress topper if you can only afford one mattress, but you want to get a topper to make your other less quality mattress into a Ghost Bed level of comfort, or anything like that. 40% off of those bundles. So again, you start out with one of their 4 mattresses and the adjustable base, and then you just fucking pile on from there however much you want. Or if you want to shop a la carte, ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros. Use the promo code Drinkin Bros. You get 30% off everything. So if you just want some pillows or you just need a mattress, you don't need a base or whatever, 30% off everything a la carte. And they do financing 0 down, 0%, $35 a month. You just need like a normal human being's credit. Mm-hmm. You're good to go on that. ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros. We love those guys. There's one literally in the studio. Most of the people who work here own a Ghost Bed mattress, and the rest have at least some form of Ghost Bed on their bed.
Yeah. Yep, sure do. Ghost Bed's the shit.
Good fucking mattress.
Speaking of shit, Afghanistan is slowly but surely getting worse. Members of the new, more inclusive Taliban regime in Afghanistan recently beheaded a women's volleyball player and posted pictures of the decapitated head on social media. Now, keep in mind, Donald Trump doesn't have a Twitter account, but the Taliban does. And they're using their social media accounts to post pictures. He's posting memes that might or might not be true, but they're posting pictures of the heads they've cut off.
That seem to be very true.
I feel like there's got to be some middle ground there that they can come to where Trump just promises not to post pictures of people getting their heads cut off or something. I don't know, because he hasn't done it yet. The coach from the all-girls team reported that, I can't say this name, Hakimi, some woman's name, Hakimi, was murdered by the Taliban earlier this month. A member of the team who fled to the UK in August said other women from the team have been receiving threats, not only from the Taliban, but from Taliban sympathizers with their own families, saying, quote,
Thanksgiving's always tough.
Yeah. Saying, quote, many of our players were threatened many times by their relatives who are Taliban and Taliban followers. The Taliban asked our players' families to not allow their girls to do sports. Otherwise, they will be faced with unexpected violence.
If you tell them they'll be faced with unexpected violence, then it no longer becomes unexpected violence.
Yeah, I guess maybe they fucked themselves over a little bit right there.
I don't want to get into semantics here, but
well, semantics are important sometimes. The Taliban also recently appointed a new police chief, Walawi Zubair Mutamin, maybe, who was formerly a commander of a Taliban suicide bombing squad in Kabul. Sweet. What the fuck?
Well, he has leadership experience.
Yeah, at least he's got stripes, I guess.
Yeah.
During an interview, this motherfucker claimed he saw no difference between coordinating suicide bombings and community policing. Saying, previously I was serving Islam, now I'm also serving Islam. There is no difference. Wow.
Checkmate.
That's a little bit of tautology, isn't it? You're like using a word in its own definition at that point.
Yeah.
But I don't think, I do think the irony is probably lost on this man. Good spot if we find out where his social media account is. Maybe you can track him there and drop a bomb on his head.
It's kind of like a lifeguard going in to perform cardiac surgery on you, and you're like,
trying to save your life, bro.
I was saving lives before, and I'm saving lives now.
Basically the same thing. So, earlier this week, the Taliban Interior Minister, Sirajuddin Haqqani, who currently has a $10 million bounty from the U.S. State Department on his head, promised to reward the family members of suicide bombers who attacked U.S. troops. Sweet. So during a gathering on Monday, Haqqani praised the sacrifices of the, quote, martyrs and Fedayeen, calling them, quote, heroes of Islam in the country, before giving each family $112 and promising them a plot of land. I don't know how much land is worth in Afghanistan, but if it's land plus only $112, shit, that doesn't sound like a very good deal for losing your family member.
Buy the dip?
Yeah, buy the dip. Buy the dip on people. Yeah. Last week, the Biden administration announced it would provide humanitarian aid to Afghanistan, even as conditions in the country worsen under Taliban rule. Now, what I said before that would happen is that we would continue to funnel money to the Taliban in the same way that we use Qatar to funnel money to Hamas in Palestine after they won the election in 2005 or 6, I think, to become the government of Palestine. And they would use that money to then buy weapons and use them against their enemies, which is us and Israel. Same thing will happen here. Same thing is happening. We're sending them money, and they're going to use that money probably on diversity training and getting green, right? You would think. On new solar panels and shit.
Oh, I thought you meant diversity training as in, like, figuring out more different types of people to kill.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, oh, they're like, that would be exciting for the Taliban.
Their murders are more diverse.
They find out there's more pronouns. They're like, oh, shit.
We have more people to kill.
Yeah, like, I didn't even know. I thought we were running out of people to kill.
Opens up a whole new page.
Yeah.
With the U.S. funding things like that, part of me is just like, is this like my checking account where I'm still paying like 8 things I forgot about?
Yeah, you got to get that one app that tracks down all the stupid shit that you're still subscribed to and cancels it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically what it's to keep the faucet on. So that the show I did on American Party with Alec Ross the other day, where I made the point that he seemed to be operating from the premise that we have a certain financial need and that needs to be met in a way that affects larger earners more so than smaller earners, ignores the fact that we don't need to be spending this amount of money in the fucking first place. And here's another goddamn example. It is, I guess, in a way cruel to tell them that, hey, you got to fucking figure it out. But hey, you got to fucking figure it out. If you have to fucking, if a lot of your people have to get killed in a war that you fight for yourself, for the freedom of your own country, then that is the way it has to be.
I mean,
sorry.
we already say that to like 50 countries. Like,
we do it all the time, except for when we have some kind of financial interest in that country, right? Like rare earth minerals or some other bullshit. I know fucking Stanley McChrystal tried to play that down when he was on the show here, but that guy's full of shit, right? Let's just be fucking real about that.
You didn't buy his thing saying that China's not that interested in
no, because
Afghanistan
I've got eyeballs and ears and a brain that works, and I'm not fucking invested in the politics behind all of it. When he said that, that was full of shit. Yes, he's lying. He's not, and maybe he's convinced himself that's true, but that is not true. The announcement about the humanitarian aid came just like a couple days after the Taliban refused to work with the U.S. to combat ISIS, where 13 U.S. service members were killed. It was the week before, and then the week after that, we started sending them money. I think it was a fucking like $60 or $80 million or something like that. The State Department spokesman, Ned Price, Ned, how the fuck do you get into government service with a name like Ned? Said in a statement that the U.S. is, quote, focused on security and terrorism concerns and safe passage for U.S. citizens and other foreign nationals and our Afghan partners, as well as human rights, including the meaningful participation of women and girls in all aspects of Afghan society. No, you're not.
Yeah, that doesn't seem likely to happen.
Well, not only is it not going to happen, but the U.S. has no interest in making it happen.
No.
So just say that. It's like, hey, it sucked over there and we came home. We're done with that. They got to figure it out. I'm fine with that. I mean, it sucks for them. And to be honest, when the United States fought their war of independence, we had help. We had money from the Netherlands, about $10 million or something like that. I think the first major.
John Adams had to go get it.
Yeah, it was the first major. It was the first of any kind of official deal between the new United States and a foreign government, right? And then General Lafayette, who was only 24 years old at the time, came over here from the French military and joined our military under the tutelage of General Washington and served in his army and was one of the primary liaisons for the French Navy that helped us defeat them in the Boston Harbor. And we had some help, right? But it wasn't just them doing it. The French did not liberate us. We liberated ourselves with help from the French. Now we can do that. We can use our air superiority and special operators to help some countries liberate themselves, but we cannot liberate them on their behalf. It just doesn't work that way. So we got to figure out what kind of country we're going to be, the kind that helps or the kind. I mean, it's the difference between teaching a man to fish, right, and giving him one. It's the difference between welfare and entrepreneurship. If you teach somebody how to fucking make their own way, then they'll do that. And not only do it, but they'll teach other people the same. But if you just fucking give them shit, they'll never fucking... We know this. This is one of the universal principles of humanity. That story about teaching people to fish is at least 2,000 years old, at a minimum. Unless it was borrowed from some text before that we don't know about. So at a minimum, it's 2,000 years old. And for some reason, we can't figure out how to fucking put it into practice. We're a bunch of retards.
Is there a way to, at any point, like help people who just, like there's not enough of a plurality for them to make a difference, but they want to get the fuck out of there?
Yeah, I mean, we tried that a couple of times with Cuba, and they wanted to stay and fight, and they pretty much got lit up. But yeah, maybe there's something to that. We do have a refugee and asylee policy that addresses that, yes. But it's not one where we go fucking set up a base in the middle of Afghanistan and fight a war for 20 years and get 15,000 people out. That just doesn't work that way.
Spend a hot trillion on whatever. You know what you should spend $1 trillion on? Cardomax.
I agree.
Or whatever.
Maybe not $1 trillion.
Yeah, whatever you think is an appropriate number.
If you can get your hands on one of those new $1 trillion coins, that might do it.
Yeah, just hand it over, and Sean Matson will give you all the Cardomax you need.
Yeah.
Forever. Lifetime supply, I guarantee it.
If $1 trillion doesn't buy you a lifetime supply, then you've lived too long.
It's probably true. Cardomax is energy intensifier, uses the least amount of ingredients possible. It's one of our favorite energy drinks in the world. We have a million of them in the office. I dumped one into my bottle of water earlier, and it gave me some good energy.
Yeah, that's what I'm drinking right now.
It's great to, it gives you the energy you need to optimize your workouts or whatever else you need to boost for, dealing with the kids at some ungodly hour of the morning, driving that long haul, whatever. Cardomax keep you going. It's owned and operated, like I said, by former Navy SEAL and fellow drinking bro, Sean Matson. Cardomax Energy Intensifier comes in an easy-to-mix liquid packet in 2 great flavors, blue raspberry and pink lemonade. More of a raspberry guy myself. It's got B3, B6, B12 vitamins, caffeine, BCAAs. Tastes great. The ingredients are healthy. No calories. It's made by a veteran and a drinking bro. That's why we love them. That's why we love Cardomax. That's why we have a million fucking bags in the office. Got one right here. Got my blue raspberry right here. So Cardomax right now, offering Drink Bros an exclusive offer, 30% off your next 4 orders. Go to cardomax.com. Use the promo code DB. A lot of times the promo code is Drinking Bros with us. For Cardomax, it is DB. Cardomax.com. Use the promo code DB. That is CARDOMAX.com. Promo code DB. You get you 30% off your next 4 orders. Not your first 4 orders, just any sequence of 4 orders that you make, you can get 30% off. And I think that includes the immune booster, and they have like a recovery one as well. Yeah. So they have more than just that. I actually drank an immune booster earlier today too, because again, Ross was spreading AIDS in the office, and I needed to do something about that.
Yeah, it's important to do something about AIDS.
And the immune booster might be that.
It might, yeah. I mean, oh, God, I hate Fauci. Does everybody remember this motherfucker is the one that was spreading all this false information in the mid-'80s about how AIDS can be transmitted different ways? He was just trying to hype up HIV.
Yeah.
And that's like, oh, God, damn. If anybody deserves for something truly bad to happen to them, it's him, honestly. I hope it does. I hope something horrible happens to that man. Speaking of men, The U.S. has sworn in its first openly transgender 4-star officer, somebody that's never served in the military ever, by the way.
So is this like a Surgeon General situation?
Yeah, I guess.
Where you get a uniform for no reason?
Yeah, it's stupid, right?
Yeah, it's really fucking bizarre.
Yeah, it's one of the 4 or one of the 7 or 8 uniformed services of the United States military. The Department of Health and Human Services, what's the official USPHS, whatever the fuck that stands for. I really don't care. Dr. Rachel Levine, the Assistant Secretary of Health at HHS, became the nation's first openly transgender 4-star officer, a 4-star admiral, actually. After taking the oath of office, Levine said, "This is a momentous occasion, and I am honored to take this role for the impact that I can make and for the historic nature of what it symbolizes. I stand on the shoulders of those LGBTQ plus individuals who came before me, both those known and unknown." Well, you're certainly known because you've made it a point to be. As a matter of fact, it's the only reason she's in this position in her career in the first place, but we'll get to that later. Levine is a pediatrician and former Pennsylvania Health Secretary, is now USPHS Commissioned Corps' 6th 4-star admiral.
So what is that? I just mostly don't understand why the title is admiral.
I don't either, to be honest. Let me see.
Really, I'll look at
I'm going to try to find who the fucking previous admiral was. So incumbents, preceded by Brett something or other.
So what they're called is a non-military uniform service. Not trained in arms. They are trained in healthcare. But it's a corps.
Right.
And, yeah, that's basically it. Like, they're non-military, but they're still called, they're still uniformed. So as opposed to, like, I guess the Justice Department or something.
Yeah. I mean, so people are getting lost in the weeds on this stuff because this position is never, well, maybe it has been before, but it's not going to be like a former military person. That's not what the job is. Like the Surgeon General's job is to be the top medical officer for the country, right?
Right.
In the same way that the president is the commander in chief.
Right.
I think the president should have to wear a uniform. That'd be hilarious, yes. But it's like a onesie. Just so nobody takes him too seriously. I mean, if you saw Joe Biden in a onesie right now, that would pretty much make sense.
Yeah.
Like with a little drool coming down and a bib, maybe. Anyways, in a press release, the HHS stated that Admiral Levine will lead 6,000 public health service officers who are dedicated to serving our nation's most underserved and vulnerable populations. Why? Why are they dedicated to that? Why are they dedicated to the underserved and most vulnerable? Why not everyone? You know what I mean? Your job is to work for everyone, you stupid fuck. Anyways, today's historic announcement builds on the blah, 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 LGBTQ plus IA, hut. Earlier this year, Levine made history by becoming the first openly transgender federal official to be confirmed by the Senate. And I guess now she's been confirmed by the House as well, and that's how this became the case or whatever the fuck. I don't know how that confirmation process works. She's also made history by being a giant cunt who, while telling the public to keep their families, their elderly family members in nursing homes, especially in New York, where Cuomo was murdering the fuck out of them with his incompetence, she pulled her own parent out, her mother.
That's interesting.
Right? And she did, when asked about that, why would you tell the public to do this when you fucking were doing this? She took Cuomo's approach and just blamed the CDC.
What state? Was that also in New York?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So extra fun.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like she pulled her out of like in Indiana.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No, it was this. It's just like the same typical rules for the bullshit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's great. We've now the person that's in charge of responding to health emergencies in the United States is a fucking bureaucrat. And we've added another stupid fucking partisan bureaucrat to our general officer corps. Sweet. Levine also happened to suck at her job, by the way. She's responsible for the slow rollout of the vaccinations, in most people's opinions, who pay attention to this sort of thing, in a lot of these states that had issues with it, and was also one of the primary advisors, in addition to Fauci, to lock down the entire country. She's a fucking pediatrician. dude. You give fucking children's Tylenol to people. Shut the fuck up. I mean, it's not you. This is like the Watergate situation where people just keep getting fired until you get a person in that position where that will do what you say, end the investigation or whatever the fuck it is, right? You keep kicking people out of the way until you get this one fucking sycophant who agrees with you politically that will do whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? Jesus fucking Christ, what a piece of shit. Alistair Crowley. Is that like Aleister Crowley, the fucking Satanist dude? That's pretty funny. No, I've not quit the weed pen, nor will I ever.
No, I don't.
I don't appreciate you saying that either.
Don't expect that. Yeah, that's really weird. Someone on the chat said I hated Hank Aaron the other day. This is making a lot of outlandish claims now.
That's true. We need to start fact checking our own audience. Get USA Today in here.
Yeah, I agree. I wanted. What's the other one? What's the OG one?
Oh, Snopes. Yeah.
I want to get Snopes if we can. We don't have a Levine shirt, but we do have a Fauci shirt.
We sure do. Yeah. Fauci's a cunt. Hey, you want to pull that Fauci shirt up on the interwebs there, buddy? Let people look at it. drinkitbros.com/store. You can see all them fucking goods.
My buddy Luke was extremely tickled by both the Fauci shirt and the mandate this dick.
Yeah, I'd like. I don't know which one of you said it, but the over-the-top nature with the inclusion of the actual penis for the eye and dick. You know what I mean? Really, that's the rug that tied the room together, for lack of a better phrase.
Yeah.
It should be on the first page. It's not that one. Fauci. It'll be green and white.
Did we get hacked?
No. If it's not on the first page, it'll be on the last page because they didn't update the site properly. There it is. No, didn't update the site properly. There you go. The Grinch who stole freedom. Look at that little weasel and his stupid fucking face. You know what? You'd be surprised at how little photoshopping we had to do to make that work. Does he not look exactly like the fucking Grinch?
You're very lucky that it's pretty chill to be mean to Italians now.
I don't give a fuck about this guy. Fuck him. We didn't give him a big nose or anything. He just looks like the fucking Grinch.
No, that's always the funniest thing to me when people get mad at political cartoons for like making.
It's a caricature. If you go down on the beach and get a guy
Right.
to fucking spray paint you on a surfboard, it's going to look exactly the same, asshole.
Like, there's no difference between
damn it.
how shitty Joe Biden looks in a political cartoon and how shitty like Obama looks in a political cartoon. Like they both look the same level of caricatured.
Yeah, it's the point. I thought.
Yes. It's just if it's a slow news.
We should do that. We should go down to you probably can't do it in California anymore because they're wearing masks on the beach down there probably. But maybe Florida, you can get your, or the Jersey Shore. There's no police going anywhere near that fucking place. Although there's probably no people. There's just wolves and shit all over the place. Whenever I think of Jersey Shore, I just think of like wolves roaming around.
Wolves to me is too majestic. It's like filthy dogs.
Oh yeah, or cats with rabies and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you might be right.
Let's not forget my favorite shirt, Dan, on the site right now.
Yeah, mandate this dick. Yeah, that's a good one. I really enjoy that. We need to turn that into a fucking bumper sticker, to be honest.
Why is there a period?
What do you mean?
To show you're serious.
Hard stop, bro.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a great everyday wear, no matter what.
It's not
attire.
Yeah, people don't know what you're talking about, by the way, when you say mandate this dick. They don't know if you're like talking about vaccines or abortion. Or both. I'm talking about both. I don't give a fuck what people do.
Really, people think it's a vaccination with you, but I think it's more of an all mandate situation. There's not many things you'd like to be mandated for.
Yeah, it's kind of a universal statement. Mandate this dick, bitch.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do what I want.
It can be topically applied to things.
Topically, as in like on the skin, or
Maybe. I mean, you put it on your skin.
speaking of skin, 17. I have no idea what that means. 17 missionaries have been kidnapped in Haiti, presumably Christians, I would think.
Yeah.
I don't know who else would be. 16 Americans and 1 Canadian were kidnapped. Ooh, it would be different. It was 16 Canadians and 1 American.
Yeah.
Because that would make America care, I think. What do you mean 1 American, but 16 Americans is too many to care about?
I thought this headline just said 17 people visit Haiti.
Yeah, that's basically what it says. They were kidnapped by 400 Mowoza gang members in Haiti after visiting an orphanage in northeast Port-au-Prince. The victims are affiliated with the Ohio-based Christian Aid Ministries, not Christian AIDS Ministries, but Aid. singular, which says the group is composed of 5 men, 7 women, and 5 children.
Who's bringing their kids?
Yeah, if you're wondering why, if you're wondering if this sounds all familiar, it is one of the fucking Rambo movies, right?
Yeah.
This is a fucking movie that just happened a couple years ago, and these assholes did it anyways. The adults range from 18 to 48 years old, and the 5 children abducted include an 8-month-old baby.
You gotta be fucking kidding
And children ages 3, 6, 13, and 15.
My wife doesn't want to drive to Dallas with our 2-month-old baby.
Nor should she.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should wrap that thing in bubble wrap. The kidnappers have demanded a total of $17 million for the safe return of the missionaries, or $1 million per person. Kidnappings have become more frequent in the country recently due to political instability, civil unrest, and severe poverty.
For those who don't remember, political instability refers to their president being assassinated.
Yeah, by some weird-ass doctor in Florida.
Yeah.
That had the help of some other people. It was very bizarre. The gang has abducted dozens of people this year alone, including 4 nationals, and normally demands ransoms of around $20,000. Local officials have stated that the FBI is working with Haitian police investigators and that negotiations are ongoing. $20,000 all the way up to $1 million. That's inflation, buddy.
Yeah.
Joe Biden can be blamed for this as well.
You can't rule it out.
Yeah. Also, why is it one price fits all?
Yeah, I don't think a fucking 48-year-old like fat dum-dum is worth the same as a fucking baby.
No.
Like you can, especially if it's like a white, blue-eyed, blonde-haired baby.
That
Well,
baby has
actually,
potential. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
well, I'm not saying it has potential because of its race or high color.
No, I'm saying just age.
Oh,
it
yeah.
It has plenty of years to prove its worth. Where the 48-year-old, he's kind of.
He had a good run.
It's just who's going to work in a mine longer?
Yeah, basically. Well, are there mines in Haiti? If they had natural resources, I don't think any of this shit would be happening.
Yeah, that's a pretty fair point.
Let's see. Yeah, I don't care about any of this. This is dumb. I mean, it's like, if it's your kid and they do something stupid and get arrested, you go down and bail them out. But if it's your buddy and he's like, hey, man, I got arrested again. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, God, what did you do this time? And it's something really stupid. Like, I'll come get you, but it's going to be 2 or 3 days from now,
Right.
motherfucker. You got to pay some price for this shit at some point. This is incredibly stupid. I'm sure these people's heart were in the right place, but their heads certainly were not. This is stupid.
At some point, so there's like there's levels of missionary, right? So you have on the one end, like someone who just goes to a poor country that they know is relatively, like they don't go into like a gang-infested place or something, and they just do a good job or whatever, and they leave. And then on the other end, you have that guy that one time who landed on the island off of like Sri Lanka and India and shit with the untouched tribe.
Yeah.
That like was known for murdering people who get shipwrecked on the island and just started walking toward them with the Bible as they shot arrows at him until they murdered him.
I don't know if he thought the Bible was like Captain America's shield or some shit, but it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
It's letters printed on paper.
I don't even know that a vibranium Bible would have helped him for long.
I think well, it depends on his reflexes, right? And his
True.
hand-eye coordination as well. I don't know. But that was really dumb. I just don't understand why the fuck people do stupid shit like this. I honestly don't.
It's really just egregious they brought fucking kids.
It's, yeah. They definitely, if they make it out of this, their children should be taken away from them.
Yeah.
Well, like 100%. Your
Like,
children should
you
be
shouldn't
taken away
be
from them.
raising a child.
No.
You can't take an 8-month-old baby to Haiti to work in like the shittiest parts of Haiti, presumably.
Yeah. You probably have a better chance of giving your baby a live rattlesnake and it not getting bit than you do of going to Haiti and not being kidnapped. So, if we're taking kids away for that, maybe we do it for this as well.
Yeah, probably.
Let's see. I don't care about this mandate stuff. We all know that healthcare workers are going on strike. We also know that Southwest was completely full of shit. When all the people and Drinkin Bros and the message boards and then in the chat, like, oh, no, there was actually weather. There wasn't weather. You're full of shit. There's a dude flying a goddamn "Don't Tread on Me" flag out the side of his airplane, and then they were protesting all week this week in Dallas at the Southwest headquarters. Now people in the medical community are doing the same shit. It's just the way it is. We're not going to get into the weeds on that. I'm tired of talking about it. Let's see what's up next here. Ooh, this is good. National Recreation and Parks Association thinks the word American is an offensive term. So the nation's leading parks nonprofit, this is not Parks and Recreation, the government agency. This is a nonprofit organization.
Perfect.
They released a new guide on Tuesday outlining how to speak to overly sensitive lunatics without offending them, like birthing people, for example. Words like that. Or dick havers, I think, is one of them. I'm not sure if that's one of them.
How me and my wife were referred to in the maternity ward.
Dick haver and birthing person?
Yes.
Yeah, nice. The 17-page...
Well, they were like, and which one is the dick haver and which one?
Yeah, well, you got to ask, yeah. I like that exercise where you say, write a sentence that makes sense now that wouldn't have made sense 10 years ago. And my response was, this woman has a really nice dick, I think is what I said. The 17-page, quote, equity language guide, end quote. Anybody that uses the word equity instead of equality, by the way, is a fucking moron. Equity means outcome.
Right.
Not opportunity, just to be clear. So if you see somebody talking about equity and shit like that.
Equity is usually a monstrous red flag.
Yeah, it's a huge red flag. Anyways, the guide has instructions on what words are acceptable or unacceptable when speaking about race, age, gender, sexual orientation, and ability. The guide includes tips such as avoiding use of the term American and make sure white is lowercase while black is capitalized.
So black is topping white.
Hey, I mean, that's pretty much how it's been going anyways.
Yeah.
So if you're just trying to have language reflect reality, I'm fine with that. Alien is deemed an offensive term now.
Well, Demi Lovato told us that.
Oh, yeah, and she's the authority on words, even when being used in reference to plants.
What?
Yep.
I didn't know it was used in reference to plants, really. But
I like, like an alien species, a species that's not natural to the environment.
Yeah.
But it's like Carlin said back in the day about how ridiculous safetyism becomes. And his example was that before you get a lethal injection, they swab your arm with alcohol. Why?
It can't be cruel punishment.
What he said was you don't want to be in hell and get an infection.
Yeah.
But whatever. Minority and the recently acceptable term person of color have both been deemed unacceptable now. And the guide also encourages park employees to, quote, recognize religious and cultural traditions other than those that typically dominate the U.S. media landscape, and then in parentheses, usually Christian holidays.
So, for example, I'm spitballing here. If a group of gentlemen enter your park and are upset that a woman is playing volleyball,
Yeah.
and perhaps decide to cut off her head
Okay.
for playing volleyball, and say it's because of their religion.
I don't know if you can use the word gentleman,
That's probably true.
but other than that, you pretty much went in Rome, right?
Yeah.
Man, that's something special right there.
It all sounds very park related, too.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to come back to the phrase person of color in a second, but also outlined in the guide is an updated definition of, quote, white supremacy, about which the guy, I don't know why parks need to address white supremacy. Mm-hmm. Is it like, are bears getting involved now? What the fuck's going on here? Jesus Christ. The polar bears have come down and stolen the land from the brown and black bears and grizzlies.
They could if they wanted
Yeah.
to. They are the strongest bear.
They are the strongest bear. While most people associate white supremacy with extremist groups, this is from the guide. This is a quote from the guide. While
Right.
most people associate white supremacy with extremist groups like the KKK and neo-Nazis, white supremacy is ever present in our institutional and cultural assumptions that assign value, morality, goodness, and humanity to the white group while casting people and communities of color as worthless. Sweet. Like, that's just fucking real nice. Finally, the guide assures readers that it's okay to make mistakes, saying, quote, sometimes you will get it wrong or forget, and that's okay. Take a moment, acknowledge it, and commit to doing better next time.
So that first sentence, I don't believe them.
Which one? That you'll get it wrong sometimes?
And that's okay.
Oh, no, it's not okay. Certainly, you should be fired at the first offense.
Don't believe them that they will operate that way.
Oh no, of course not. I see what you're saying. Yeah, they'll hammer you every time. So I want to come back to the person of color thing. So most of our grandparents used the phrase "colored," right? Mm-hmm. And it was to say that white isn't a color, although it is I suppose
all the colors.
All the colors, yeah. But either way, white was considered to not be a color, and anything else was considered colored. And now we've changed it to person of color. But that's become offensive as well, right?
Well, it wasn't just our grandparents. I mean, the NAACP, right? The
Yeah.
C is colored.
Yeah. So poison is poison, regardless of what year it is. You know what I mean? Like, anthrax will kill you right now the same way that would kill you 50 years ago and the same way that will kill you 50 years from now.
Yeah, it's easy for you to say you got the vax.
Yeah. I doubt that thing's still working, although I do feel stronger. You know what I mean? But the way we move the goalposts on a regular basis, right, is nothing more than a tool that's being weaponized to take advantage of people's short memories and their fucking outrage culture to take down people that they don't like. That's all it is. It's like that rule. There's a law in Russia. It's 400 something, 447 or something like that, in their legal book that basically criminalizes everything, and then the Russian government gets to selectively apply it to whomever they want.
Right.
Right. That's what this is. It's nonsense. If you can move the goalpost, you can win every single game. And the game isn't supposed to be about winning, one side or the other side winning. The game is supposed to be about figuring out how to exist with one another. And that's not what this does. It's fucking bullshit. And everybody believes this fucking 1619 horse shit should fucking shut the fuck up. Just go start your own country somewhere and make that the premise of your country. Equity, the premise of your country, and see how that shit works out for you, motherfucker. Because you're seeing how it works out here. It doesn't. Jesus
Honestly,
fucking
even
Christ.
one of the explanations I always liked about what the United States was supposed to be was obviously it wasn't the original intention because it wasn't 50, but essentially what it is now is essentially 50 experiments in democracy.
Right. Yeah.
So
It's supposed to be, right?
it's fine if you want to think that way, I guess, but just keep it confined to your democratic space. I mean, you can tell us about it and everything, but like if you want to institute it, right, like do it in your space where other people might agree with you and vote the same way. Mm-hmm. And then just, then see how it works out.
Yeah, but you also have to be prepared for the consequences.
Yes.
And then suffer those consequences should it become suffering.
Yes.
Like I'm not here to bail you out because you've made bad decisions. I'm here to bail you out in the case of force majeure, like acts of God.
Yeah.
Rain and viruses and shit.
Right.
Not because you fucked up. You know what I mean? We're not supposed to be bailing out the auto industry or the housing industry or the banking industry. We're supposed to be fucking bailing out human beings. Motherfucker. Anyways, speaking of shitty human beings, Enes Canter is a better person than LeBron James.
Definitely got more balls.
That's a fact. He's put himself at great personal risk a number of times, both physically and financially, to say things he believes in. And I guess LeBron's done the same to some degree, but he believes in money, and that's it.
Right.
Obviously.
He's also got a hit on him by Hidu Turkoglu and the country of Turkey.
Yeah, because of Erdogan. Erdogan hates that guy. So Turkey for 90-some years has had not an atheist government, but a government that said, yeah, we're all Muslims, but that shit is not going to affect our government, right? It's Islamic law is banned from government there. It was until Erdogan. And he brings back all this fucking jihadist bullshit, or not jihadist, the Sharia bullshit. Anyways, that shit's in the past. Not for Enes Canter because there's still a hit out on him, but for us, we've already covered it. The Boston Celtics are now facing blowback in China after Enes Canter posted a video voicing his support for Tibetan independence. The reaction was quick. Chinese video streaming giant Tencent cut the live broadcast of Wednesday's NBA game between the Celtics and the New York Knicks.
Oh, and it was a good one, too.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Went to OT.
Canter stated the following in his video. Brutal dictator of China, Xi Jinping, I have a message for you and your henchmen. Free Tibet, free Tibet, free Tibet, right? Very simple. Mm-hmm. On Thursday, Chinese social media was filled with angry fans calling for a boycott.
Oh, they're just like us.
Yeah, they are just like us. People are shit. To be clear, China is currently operating around 1,400 concentration camps filled with Uyghur Muslims who are routinely murdered and forced sterilized, just to be clear.
Not even sure those two things you said are the worst things happening in the camps.
They may not be, to be honest. The systematic rape, the women being who are pregnant, having fucking
forced
needles.
Very late-term abortions.
Yeah, jabbed into their stomachs and shit like that. This is the first time the NBA has been in a little hot water, I suppose, with China. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows Daryl Morey. I mean, nobody better than Delco Dan over there because he's the general manager of the Philadelphia 76ers now. And for some reason, he doesn't appreciate just how great Ben Simmons is. I don't get it. Anything to say? Nothing?
He's my bravest NBA player.
Who, Simmons?
Yeah.
he practiced the other day with a phone in his pocket. Kicked him out.
He should show up in like fucking in like a onesie or something next time.
Look, he's probably just a concerned father. I assume he's a father. I have no idea who
He's
Ben
not.
Simmons is.
He's not.
He's Australian.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, his kids are probably out in the fucking woods somewhere fighting kangaroos. I don't know what the fuck they do.
Yeah, maybe he had like a...
He did it a Jenner.
Okay.
Oh, he did date a Jenner. Yeah, it's gross. So Daryl Morey in 2019 made some statements.
Pretty innocuous.
Pretty innocuous, but they were pro-democracy in Hong Kong. He basically said that...
He wasn't like, fuck China. Or
No,
like,
no. It was like those people should have self-determinism like everybody else. Is
Right,
essentially
yeah.
what he said. And here's where LeBron comes into all this. LeBron James said the following. I don't want to get into a verbal feud with Daryl Morey, but I believe he wasn't educated on the situation at hand, and he spoke, and so many people could have been harmed, not only financially. Notice how he led with financially. Physically, emotionally, spiritually. So just be careful what we tweet and say, and we do, even though, yes, we do have freedom of speech, but there can be a lot of negative that comes with that too. Calling for somebody to have self-determinism and not be brutalized by an authoritarian government is not irresponsible, LeBron James. What's irresponsible is putting your own financial welfare ahead of actual human beings' lives. You are a cunt piece of shit, and you don't deserve to breathe the air that's coming through your nostrils right now. What a fucking piece of shit. Anyways, notice how he led with the financial harm, because God forbid his stupid fucking movie, right? They got lit up by the woke police, too, because the rabbit had too big of titties.
yeah.
I don't like rabbit with big titties. Jesus fucking Christ. Where are we
I
at?
did miss those rabbit titties.
Yeah.
But again, I've said this many times. If you're a good American, the cartoon rabbit you want to have sex with is Officer Hops from Zootopia because you back the blue.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, look, you can threesome with both of those rabbits would be fun.
Yeah.
But either way, if you're really... If your priorities are to make more money and have more stability in your own locale than actual human beings' lives who are being butchered and brutalized, and I think it's very ironic that at the time LeBron said that Daryl Morey was just uneducated on the subject. Allow me to educate you. 1,400 active concentration camps with the worst shit imaginable happening to human beings. Right? That's what China does.
Yeah.
That's who China is.
What's weird to me is, so, whatever. Maybe LeBron didn't know about the camps because that's Hong Kong. That's two different provinces or whatever. But what's weird to me is there was a really explosive story that ESPN put out that just like never got any ESPN of all places too, that never got any traction anywhere. And that was all the NBA camps that were in, what's the province where the Uyghur camps are?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. It's in the West, I think.
Yeah. There were NBA camps out there because a lot of actually Chinese NBA talent is not from the East part of the country. Like Yao Ming isn't from the eastern part of the country, for example. But, and like the coaches were like wildly abusive, including Uyghur players. And like NBA scouts and shit were there and were like, what the fuck? And they told the NBA, and the NBA was like, it's a different country.
I guess they're in Xinjiang.
Okay, yeah. And it never really, I mean, it was on Twitter for like a day, right? It was on social media for like a day. And then it just, no one cared anymore.
Well, I mean, look, who's going to amplify that story? Is it going to be ABC, who owns or who's got the same parent company as
Right.
Disney? I mean, or as ESPN? That's not going to happen. These people put money ahead of everything.
It's just annoying. Like, LeBron James in general is just kind of a avatar of the time, which is just like an extremely bland, famous person.
Yeah, I mean, it's all this me culture bullshit. It's the
Like, his goal is to be inoffensive.
it's the self-care people too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like these people who is somehow moralized, forget about everybody else and take care of you. Deserve it. No, you don't fucking deserve it. You stupid fuck. And not only do you not deserve it, you piece of shit. Right? It's completely antithetical to how human beings have existed for millions of years, the last 500 million years of DNA evolution. We are designed as pattern-seeking creatures who seek one another out to build communities so we have safety, right? That's for millions of years. That's why we fucking acted the way we've acted. And now all of a sudden, because insecurity has grown so large right now, people are being told that it's somehow like you're more ethical or moral or you deserve or whatever the fuck if you take care of yourself first. When the fuck is me first ever been okay? That's the first thing you teach a child not to do, is to be selfish. Literally the first thing you have to teach a child not to do. Right? Mine. That's what you hear from kids. And you have to no, that's not how it works. But the kid doesn't know that there's an unlimited amount of that resource. They know that that resource is there now, they need it, and they want it, right? That's all they know. They're not sophisticated enough to understand this shit. So as they're growing up, you teach them. It's not mine. It's ours, right? And if somebody needs help, you fucking help them. And if somebody's over there getting brutalized, you don't say, hey, stop talking about it because it's costing me fucking money. You talk about it until somebody does something about it, or you do something about it if you can. I'm tired of hearing from all these fucking weak cunts all the time. What?
I think LeBron just never gets past, the first page of a report. As we know, with all the books that he reads and he carries around. I remember he would carry The Godfather around for a good bit. And they asked him what his favorite quote was from The Godfather. And he's like, there's just so many. There's just so many.
So basically the same response that Sarah Palin gave when asked which news publication she reads. Oh, all of them.
Oh, yeah.
All of them. I can see Russia from my house. Jesus fucking Christ. Anyways, that's all I got today. I'm fed up with lazy and intellectually lazy and stupid, selfish motherfuckers that think they know better than everybody else, that want to mandate shit and fucking tell everybody what to fucking do. You can't even get your own fucking shit in order. Fuck you.
Go Braves.
Yeah, go Braves tonight, by the way. And you can cut this feed off. Fuck all. I'm just kidding. You can cut the feed, though.